If you feel like your experience is holding you back from pursuing the career that you want, I'm really excited to tell you about today's sponsor and partner here on the channel, SNHU, Southern New Hampshire University. SNHU has one of the largest accredited nonprofit online degree offerings in the country. They have several programs. Let me just tell you about a couple of them. They've got programs in communications, computer science, cybersecurity, one that I think is very applicable to a lot of you here on this channel, where you can learn to solve complex cybersecurity problems by applying systems thinking and adversarial thinking to your skill set. Another one that I think could definitely be something of interest could be the data analytics. Use industry tools to gather, interpret, and visualize data techniques most appropriate for a given challenge. And a third one could be the game development. You could learn to create realistic, dynamic gameplay experiences with game AI, game physics, 2D and 3D graphics, and interface design. There are so many other programs, including those in graphic design, healthcare administration, HR, and social media marketing. Some of the best things to note about SNHU: their radical affordability. Their online tuition rates are some of the lowest in the country. SNHU was also voted one of the country's most innovative universities by U.S. News and World Report. So go ahead and check them out, snhu.edu/Sneed. Use the link that's in the description. It's pinned in the comment of this video. Check out all their programs, request the free information on those programs that interest you. It really is a great way to jumpstart your career by getting the training that you need to be competitive and ready. With respect to the network, suburban and rural will be the focus moving forward. 60% of the planned C-band site upgrades are already completed. Where they have C-band, they have more gross adds, they have premium uptake, they have lower churn. I mean, we're talking about 3x improvements between markets that have C-band and those that don't. 50% of the total network traffic on Verizon's network is over C-band on N77. What's your take on that, man?
Hard work pays off. I think that the improvements that Verizon's made to their network in the last 12 to 18 months have really started to show their colors. I think that over the next 6 to 9 months, they're going to continue that momentum and hopefully beyond that. But the 50% metric did kind of shock me. That
60.
It's 60. Wow.
Oh no, 60% of sites, planned sites, are upgraded. 50% of the traffic.
Yeah, I mean, that just goes to show you that customers are hungry for, data usage. They like to do things on the wireless network, and where they're making those upgrades, they're having an impact. I mean, what's his name? Speed Test Channel, with his long documented trip through many rural places throughout the last few weeks has been kind of a telltale sign of, in rural, these places that are getting the upgrades are seeing a noticeable improvement to the experience for the end user. So I think they just need to keep on that momentum, and hopefully by the end of the year you'll see like 70% of their traffic over C-band. I think that's the idea, right? Is upgrade it, and it goes to show you that customers are using the network after it's upgraded. It's not like they're just upgrading sites and then they're sitting with no traffic on them, right? And I think that's the big thing that they're looking at. It's like, I'm going to spend X amount of dollars to upgrade the site, but if it's not going to get any utilization, then what's the point of upgrading it? But that's not the case with Verizon. But
I think the big piece to this 50% is the fact that it's over fixed wireless, right? If you just take the total gigs consumed, a fixed wireless connection is going to use 5, 6, 7, 800 gigs, possibly upwards of a tera, versus a mobile line, which is probably going to consume anywhere between 30 and 50 gigs of usage. So I think that's part of it, because they monetize their fixed wireless access over the C-band connection. That's where it does the heavy lifting. So I think that's how they got to 50 so fast. They've got almost 4 million customers on that service.
It's all the more reason why the pricing actions make sense. Everything that I'm hearing you guys say is that the network Verizon has built has made for a better customer experience, which is a good thing.
Agreed.
And it makes a lot of sense for the pricing actions to come after that, delivery of a better overall customer experience on the network side of the house. It makes sense to capitalize on that when you have $149 billion in debt. I mean, it's just kind of the way it works. It's just simple math. You don't necessarily want to reverse that momentum when you got bills to pay. So,
I would like to see how much traffic is going over T-Mobile's mid-band network, and same with AT&T, to see if it is being taken on to the same degree.
Well, I don't think, personally, this is just my estimation. I don't think AT&T is remotely close to 50%. They don't do enough fixed wireless access sales. They don't have enough sites upgraded. There's just no way it's at 50. There were some statements and some questions that were made during the earnings call. And one question that went into Hans was about the tower sales. Hans described the tower sales as simply rumor, but then added and expanded by saying, they always try to monetize and leverage their assets. And then he followed up by, describing their future free cash flow focuses and stuff like that. He's playing coy. They are absolutely trying to sell tower sites. Where there's smoke, there's fire. They've done it before, but I guess he just doesn't want to say it publicly because there's nothing official yet. All right.
What's
So,
that thing you always say, Sneed? Don't listen to what they say, watch what they do.
right. And we've seen him do this before. So that's why I'm saying I think he was just trying to be, a good sport in the competition, you know. Um, but I don't think they're just rumor. I think that's real life. The only way that people would say something like this is if Verizon approached people and said, "Hey, we're selling towers." And of course Verizon would sell the towers to them, remain on as a lease, to retain the tower access so they can keep their radios and their antennas there. But I
I'm
thought that
I'm
was kind of interesting.
I'm sure it
Uh,
was more to the tune of people who aren't familiar with the nomenclature of the industry would take that as Verizon wants to sell towers, therefore they would have reduced coverage. They're going to decom their sites. Not your general population is going to have a very hard time discerning the difference between selling the physical asset and the deed and the land and the physical structure versus you know actually having a site on that tower. Is it
okay, so guys, what EM is describing is Verizon would sell the tower, but their radio gear would remain active on the tower on a lease with the buyer of the tower. So Verizon's footprint would not get smaller. It would remain unchanged. They just wouldn't own the tower. They would just have a lease agreement with the new tower owner.
correct? And I think that's more or less why he he took that approach. At least that would be my guess. Because again, when you're talking like we were talking about on the Patreon stream, the general populace in the street have a very hard time navigating what actually happens in this industry, and they kind of make you know rash decisions or rash movements in regards to financials. And I'm sure that would have been just another reason for people to dump the stock for no reason and then watch it rebound.